Two out last of the ninth, bases loaded. Here's Santos. He's 0 for 4 today, 269 hitter for the year.
We could be going into extra innings here.
I agree. Here's the pitch to Santos. Fastball hit in the air, deep down the left field line. It's headed toward the pole. That ball is...
Please deposit 25 cents for the next 3 minutes.
Radio. You shouldn't have to pay for it. This message brought to you by America's 13,000 local radio stations who believe some things were just meant to be free.
Bulls and bears make money, but pigs get slaughtered. Don't be an oinker. Be smart and listen to Real Money with me, Jim Cramer. Weeknights, 11 to midnight on News Talk 1130.
Have you seen the Drive-By Media's new theme here? Father knows best. 43 goes to Daddy for advice. The thing they don't tell you is they hated 41 just as much and thought he was just as big and incompetent as they think Bush 43 is. We'll be right back, folks.
Back pain sufferers, if you have herniated discs, a new free report has been released that reveals an amazing new medical breakthrough. Research has proven 86% success in treating debilitating back pain and sciatica. Now, studies published in major medical journals show relief for nearly 9 out of 10 patients, and it's not a short-term fix. Patients across the country are reporting permanent relief from bulging, herniated, or degenerated discs. Log on to discbulgereport.com to order your free copy now. That's discbulgereport.com or call 800-626-8232.
Looking at the same dingy carpet and dusty cubicle walls can be depressing. As an office manager, you owe it to yourself and your colleagues to have it clean. When you're ready, call Edelman, your carpet, furniture, and drapery cleaning service. They'll restore the natural beauty of your office in no time. For your free estimate, call 453-7010. That's 453-7010.
Your home cleaning friend. It's Edelman again. Edelman.
Top stories, huge topics, your opinions, no boredom. Check out the Early Spin. Weekday mornings, 5:30 to 8:30. Every hour, every day. News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130, WISN, Milwaukee.
Verdicts in Racine and calls for support in Milwaukee. Good afternoon. I'm Jason Fisher. This is the 1 o'clock report on News Talk 1130 WISN. Details coming up. The Weather Watch 12 forecast. Here's meteorologist Sally Severson.
Low clouds and light rain will begin to end. Temperatures low 40s.
Overcast now, 40 degrees at News Talk 1130 WISN. Breaking news from Racine County. Adriel White has learned his fate. A jury in Racine has found White guilty on all charges. Now, he was charged with shooting at 3 men, killing one of them last January because they were breaking into his girlfriend's car. He claimed he was acting in self-defense. The convictions carry a life sentence in prison. He calls it the lesser of two evils. James Weiland is the president of the union at Harley-Davidson. He's urging members to vote for the company's proposal for wage cuts for new hires in exchange for expanding local operations.
There's people that will look at this the way that we do, as what the after effects of a yes or no are. And there's others that want to take the stand and draw a line in the sand. I don't believe this is the time to be doing that.
Now, that vote is tomorrow. The workers overwhelmingly defeated a more severe concession plan last month. That Midwest Airlines MD-88 aircraft grounded this morning at Mitchell International is back in service. The plane returned shortly after takeoff because of a leak in its heating and cooling system. Mechanics have fixed those problems. More than 100 passengers were on board that plane. They are now again on their way to Los Angeles. The White House, President Bush, calling for worldwide isolation of Iran until it gives up its nuclear program. A state lawmaker says don't expect a death penalty in Wisconsin anytime soon. Still, Senator Alan Lassay says,
I'll introduce the bill. I want to work on it and get all the bugs out and see what other states have on the books as it relates to the death penalty.
Now, Lassay says with Democrats now in control of the state Senate, his bill probably won't pass in the upcoming session. More than 55% of voters in last week's election approved an advisory referendum to bring back the death penalty for murder cases for which there is DNA evidence. Well, the flu season is here, and Julie Gerberding with the CDC says they have enough flu vaccines this year.
This year we have more doses of vaccine than we have ever produced in the United States.
And there are still some flu shot clinics right here in the Milwaukee area. You can get the list at newstalk1130.com. Click on news links. A group of nurses in Sauk County bearing it all to help one of their own bear a burden of pain. Inspired by the movie Calendar Girls, the nurses at Sauk Prairie Hospital in Merrimack are showing some skin in their own real nurses calendar. It's a fundraiser for a scholarship fund for local students set up to honor the sons of a coworker. One of those boys died of cancer. The other was killed in a motorcycle accident. The dream of a Martin Luther King Jr. memorial is now closer to reality.
Look where we've all come from.
Author Maya Angelou expresses her joy that after so many long and often painful years, the nation is about to honor a man who broke the bonds of prejudice and hatred. President Bush consecrating the 4 acres between the Lincoln and Jefferson memorials as a fitting place to honor and remember Dr. King.
It will unite the men who declared the promise of America and defended the promise of America with the man who redeemed the promise of America.
If all goes according to plan, the $100 million memorial will open in 2008, etching Dr. King's dream in stone. In Washington, Mike Makowitz, Fox News Radio.
Airport officials say Tom Cruise set off a media frenzy when he landed in a Rome airport days before he set to wed Katie Holmes. Local officials won't say where the actors will exchange vows, but many speculate the ceremony will be held at a 15th century castle near the Italian capital. Last month, the slowest October in at least 3 years for existing home sales in Milwaukee. The multiple listing service says just over 1,500 homes changed hands. That's 6.7% below October 2005 and 6.4% under October 2004. Taking a look at Wall Street right now, the Dow is trading up. The Dow officially up this hour, up 36 points to 12,144. NASDAQ up 13 to 2402, that is, and the S&P 500 up 4 to 1385. Sports now, presented by Four Seasons Sunrooms in New Berlin. College hoops at the BC. The CBE Classic. The Marquette men take on Idaho State. Overcast skies right now. The Weather Watch 12 forecast coming up next. It's 104 at News Talk 1130 WISN.
We report, you decide. Factual, fair, and balanced coverage. Your exclusive home of Fox News Radio. This is News Talk 1130 WISN. You get both sides of the story. News Talk 1130 WISN.
$99. See your favorite retailer. HP. Brilliantly simple.
The weather is brought to you by Four Seasons Sunrooms in New Berlin. With a spectacular variety of sunroom additions, see why Four Seasons can make all your sunroom dreams come true. Visit them on the web at sunroomswis.com. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, when it comes to sunrooms, make it Four Seasons for all the right reasons.
Listen to award-winning newscasts. Updated every hour on demand. News on demand at newstalk1130.com.
And now the Weather Watch 12 forecast.
A little bit of very light rain over southeastern Wisconsin. Temperatures not warming up much. We'll climb into the upper 30s and very low 40s. Light south winds become light and west. Now the light rain will diminish as we go into the afternoon. For tonight, partly to mostly cloudy. Overnight lows are in the low 30s. And then for tomorrow, partly sunny skies, a little warmer, temperatures mid-40s. I'm meteorologist Sally Severson with your Weather Watch 12 forecast.
And it's overcast in Appleton, 37. Overcast in Madison, 38. Overcast in Waukesha, 37. And overcast here at the Piramax Bank News Center, 40. From the Piramax Bank News Center, I'm Jason Fisher on the station with the most accurate, complete news about Milwaukee. News Talk 1130, WISN.
Continuing coverage that's factual, fair, and balanced in less than 60 minutes. Breaking news as it happens. News Talk 1130 WISN. Fast and accurate, fair and balanced. Milwaukee's home for Fox News Radio. News Talk 1130 WISN.
Hiya, folks, and welcome back. Great to have you with us on the Excellence in Broadcasting Network. Rush Limbaugh here and the EIB Network, the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. I am a highly trained broadcast specialist. We're all professionals here. And when necessary, we will rise above our principles, ladies and gentlemen. Telephone number 800-282-2882. The email address is rush@eibnet.com. You know, last week, I jokingly, cleverly, posed a question. How long will it be before the media starts writing stories about what the Democrats need to do, or what the Republicans need to do to win back the House? Because that's been, it's been basically a 12-year story for the Democrats and the media. What do they have to do to win back their power? Ever since 1994, after every election, what do the Democrats have to do to win back their power? So I figured, well, I mean, now we'll get stories on what do the Republicans have to do to win back their power. Well, don't hold your breath on this. In fact, they're not going to write those stories. The stories now are, what do Democrats have to do to keep their power? First, Jim Coonan from the Associated Press. It's the question Democrats would rather not ask in their moment of revelry. Are their new majorities in the House and Senate sustainable? There's not one story about what the Republicans have to do to win back their power. What if the war in Iraq is over by 2008? What if? My gosh, we're pretty much signaling we're getting out of there now. Look, I got a headline here in it's an AP story. Bush's advisors adopt new tone on Iraq. We know how the new tone went in 2001 and 2002. Now we're going to adopt a new tone on Iraq. Carl Levin says 4 to 6 months, so we're going to start the procedure to get out of there. The Baker Study Group, the Iraq Study Group with Jim Baker and Lee Hamilton, somebody there leaking all over the place that, oh, yeah, we got to figure out how to get out of there. Not figure out how to win. We got to figure out how to get out of there. We're going to ask for help from Iran and Syria. 2008, if we're still in Iraq in 2008, I will be shocked. I mean, in significant numbers conducting battlefield operations, I will be stunned. Now, all of a sudden, the press is worried that we're going to get out too soon because that won't help Democrats sustain their power. What if the war in Iraq is over by 2008? Or what if it is still being waged despite Democrat pledges to change the course? What if voter antipathy towards President Bush is irrelevant in 2 years? After all, he's not going to be on the ballot. He's on his way out. They're going to keep running against Bush. He wasn't on the ballot this time, other than the war. Senator Charles Schumer of New York, the chairman of the Senate Democrat Campaign Committee, acknowledged the Democrats' 51-49 majority in the Senate was the result of the narrowest of victories in 6 races. Had 10,000 votes flipped, we would have won only 4 seats, not 6. But Democrats do see opportunities ahead. Schumer proposed a 3-step plan for the Democrats to maintain their power. This isn't even a worthwhile story. This is so easy to predict. I predicted this last week, that their sole focus is on holding on to power and never, ever, ever losing it again. They are not going to go through this. Now, people ask me all the time, what do you think is going to happen in these next 2 years? I say, well, I think it's hard to predict. Predicting this kind of stuff is very difficult because there's a wild card in it, and it's called the Republicans. And you don't know what they will do next to screw up whatever Democrats do to screw up themselves. But the odds are the Democrats are not going to be able to contain themselves, and there'll be full-fledged liberalism on display. They'll try some discipline at the outset, like they did in the election. But once they get there, next January, once they're sworn in, Pelosi's giving us an indication. I mean, she's stacking this leadership with as many far lefties as she can find, folks. And Thomas Sowell had a brilliant analysis of this in a column prior to the election. He said it's a great example of voter fraud. The Democrats posed candidates for House races that are conservative, in conservative places, to go out and out-conservative the Republicans, who became scared little dogs to even say they were conservative or to espouse conservative principles. They were so convinced that that's why they would lose, even though it's the only reason the Republicans ever won anything of significance. So in come these Democrat candidates to fill the conservative void, and they win. But they're not going to be anywhere near leadership positions. All they are is providing the majority if the Democrats in the House so Pelosi can stack the leadership deck with as many far lefties as possible. When you got Conyers on there at the whatever committee, Judiciary, you've got Rangel, who insults Mississippi and gets away with it. More on that, by the way, as the program unfolds. Jack Murtha, who he is, Abscam controversy. By the way, we have that audio soundbite. Ed grabbed that. We had a caller last hour, said, I'm the guy that dug this tape up and found it and released it to people, and that's how it got out. We have a little bite here. And this took place January 7th, 1980. This is Jack Murtha, Democrat, Pennsylvania, an FBI agent. Murtha appears to reject the offered bribe, but actually told the FBI agent at this point, is saying, look, I'm not interested right now. Call me later.
I went out, I got the 50,000, okay? For what you're telling me, okay? You're telling me that that's not what that's not what I'm not interested. Okay. It is a point.
I'm not interested at this point. Meaning, get back to me. The Abscam bribery scandal. At any rate, so she's putting all these far lefties, they're not going to be able to contain themselves. They just aren't. They can't now. Saw Carl Levin on television yesterday, saw Carl Levin on TV this morning as though he's president. Here's what we're going to do when it comes to getting out of Iraq. Of course, we're going to talk Senator McCain, the soon-to-be ranking member on our committee, Armed Forces. We'll talk Senator McCain. We're going to get some ideas out there. That sounds good. That sounds wonderful. The moderates and the independents will lap that up, but that's just BS. They're going to run this. Levin's out there already acting like he's president. That's why I say I woke up today and I said, did 2 years go by over the weekend and I didn't know it? Because I could swear the Democrats are running the whole show based on what they're saying and how they're saying it. So anyway, cut to the chase. They will be who they are. They will be full-fledged libs. They're going to go for socialized medicine as quickly as they can, and they're going to do it under the guise of having the government negotiate drug prices for Medicare. Now, the Bush administration said yesterday that it would oppose that priority. Michael Leavitt, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, said he saw no prospect of compromise on the issue, which is legislation authorizing the government to negotiate with drug companies to secure lower drug prices for Medicare beneficiaries. Now, Leavitt said in politics, most specific issues like this are a disguise for a larger difference. Government negotiation of drug prices does not work unless you have a program completely run by the government. Democrats say they want the government to negotiate prices. What they really want is government-run health care. They're going to make a full speed ahead push on this. This is socialized medicine. This is the way to get us government-run health care. By having government negotiate drug prices, that's one leg of a three-legged stool. So they're going to do all these things. So it's going to be patently obvious to people who they are. They're not going to be able to camouflage it and mask it. They're going to try it. They won't get away with it. Now, having said that, will it matter? Will the Republicans be able to take advantage of this come 2008? Who's on the presidential ticket will be a factor in all of this. And while we might take solace, some of us, some of you, I don't like losing to these people. Some of you might take solace in the fact that they're going to blow it and that they're going to show us who they are. And it's going to be a fun 2 years. Maybe so, but they're going to do a lot of damage in those 2 years. They are going to try. And the biggest bit of damage they're going to do, and it looks like they're going to get help doing it, is in foreign policy and Iraq. This is going to be, if what we're hearing comes to pass, it's going to be an utter disaster. Down the road, many, many years down the road, it's going to be an utter disaster. Nobody seems to care about that, though. Just want us out of there. And can you blame them for 6 years? There's been a negative onslaught about conservatives, Republicans, and the president nightly on the drive-by media. For the past 2.5 years, all they've had to do is make sure that every night in the news you got enough pictures of Baghdad in smoke, burning cars, stories about mistreatment of civilians by American troops. And it's enough to drive people to pay no attention to this other than the 10 minutes of news they watch every night to be made to feel very uncomfortable and demand a change. who really have no more thought about it than that. They just don't like being made uncomfortable by what they're seeing on TV, so end that situation. No concept of what's at stake. They're not paying all that much attention. So they're going to do some damage. Now, I know people are saying, well, Russ, they don't have large enough majorities to do a lot of damage. Maybe not, but some of it's going to depend on a veto pen. Don't know if we're going to see that. We'll just have to wait and see. But I'm through predicting this stuff, folks, because I don't know what liberals have shown who they are for years. Liberals have done everything they can to show who they are, and they were able to stay in power for 40 years in the process. So I don't want to have to depend, as the Democrats did this election, on victory by other sides screwing up and having people vote for you only because they're voting against the Democrats. That doesn't give you a mandate. The Democrats don't have a mandate now other than Iraq, but yet they think they do, and they're going to act like it. And they're going to be promoted and pushed by the drive-by media, so they do think they run the whole show now. They think they run the whole show anyway, even when they lose. It's just their attitude. So we'll track it. I mean, we'll do what we always do here, but it's going to have its share of damage inflicted, which is going to be a very costly education to some people, I fear. Back in just a second. Stay with us.
Available 24/7 at RushLimbaugh.com and live on the air right here, right now on the EIB Network.
Rush on News Talk 1130 WISN.
The old saying goes that the best offense is a good defense, and it's a philosophy that works even when fighting a cold. Yes, my friends, it is that time of year again. It's almost inevitable that a big, nasty cold will attack you without warning. And the best way to fight it is to be ready for it. And that's why you should stock your medicine cabinet with Zicam Cold Remedy Gel Swabs and be prepared for the battle. When Zicam Cold Remedy Gel Swabs are used at the first sign of your cold, they don't just mask the symptoms, they are clinically proven to help you get over your cold 3 times faster. For more information, go to Zicam.com. That's Zicam.com. Zicam Cold Remedy is homeopathic, and it works. I mean, I can tell you for a fact it's done the trick for me, and I know that I will have my own personal arsenal ready to defeat the inevitable attack of the dreaded winter cold when it pops up. Zicam Cold Remedy Gel Swabs get you over your cold 3 times faster, now on the shelf at your local retailer.
I want to let you in on a little secret, but before I do, could all you car dealers, bankers, and credit card companies switch over to the all sappy love songs all day long station? Good. For the rest of you, here's the secret. FreeCreditReport.com. If you know your credit score going in, you may be able to cut a better deal on car loans, refis, even credit cards. And you'll find your free credit score and report at FreeCreditReport.com. That's the secret. Get your free credit score and report with enrollment in Triple Advantage at FreeCreditReport.com. Get the score.
It's Saturday. You and your wife take the boys to the mall, straight to the food court. Your wife and Pete head for tacos. You and Danny want Chinese. You look up at the menu for a few seconds. You look down to see what Danny wants. But you don't see Danny. Your eyes dart around frantically. You instinctively call out.
Danny! Danny!
From the taco place, you hear a voice.
Hey! Dad! Changed my mind!
Every parent knows that feeling when, even for a few seconds, you lose sight of your child. Imagine if he or she were actually abducted. Go to wirelessamberAlerts.org. Sign up for free Amber Alerts on your cell phone. When an Amber Alert is issued in the areas you've chosen, you'll receive a free text message. If you spot the vehicle, the suspect, or the child described in the alert, call 911. Sign up today at wirelessamberAlerts.org. A child is calling for help. This message brought to you by the Wireless Foundation, the U.S. Department of Justice, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and the Ad Council.
Presidents Bush and Clinton for the United Negro College Fund.
Last year, Hurricane Katrina devastated the Gulf region and left homes, businesses, churches, schools, and lives ravaged in its wake.
The area's historically black colleges and universities still need millions of dollars to restore their campuses. President Bush and I have deliberately turned to the United Negro College Fund to lead this effort.
When one HBCU opens its doors, it does so for an entire community. Keeping them open after Hurricane Katrina is why we must act now.
Please join our Wave of Hope campaign by visiting the UNCF's website www.uncf.org/Wave of Hope. Thank you.
Thank you.
To act now, call 1-800-313-0151 or visit our website, uncf.org/Wave of Hope. Brought to you by the United Negro College Fund, the Wave of Hope campaign, and the Ad Council.
Taking no prisoners. There's only one Mark Bellick. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
Of societal evolution, Rush Limbaugh on the EIB Network. And back to the phones. Dave in Chicago. I'm glad you waited, sir. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Rush. Thank you. I appreciate the ability to speak with you. My father informed me of you about 6 months ago when he was helping me rebuild my front porch, and I've been laughing ever since.
Well, happy to have you on the troop.
Well, it's good to be here. I lived in Colorado back in the 80s when President Reagan gave amnesty to all the immigrants. And the people that I worked with, and a majority of them were Hispanic or had recently become American citizens, said that when it came time to vote next time, they would not vote Republican because Reagan did that. So it doesn't surprise me at all that the Democrats don't want to touch this issue because they, like you said, when it comes time for the next election, they still want to be in power.
Oh, there's no question about it. By the way, that Reagan sign, it was Simpson Mazzoli back in 1986. And I think the number of illegals then that were granted amnesty was 3-point-something million. And it was supposed to fix the problem. And now we're up to whatever the number is guessed to be, 12 million, 15 million. I've seen guesstimates as high as 30 million. So I don't know how much credibility the 30 million figure has. But the Democrats clearly gave the impression, this is another one of these interesting things. The Republicans, the party of ideas, take on this immigration battle, and all the ideas are basically on the Republican side, except for Ted Kennedy, who's got this amnesty bill. And with Kennedy there, and the Democrats throughout the year, with all these marches that took place, Democrats out recruiting voters, the Democrats clearly created the impression among the pro-amnesty types that they were on their side. And the White House has signaled their eagerness to work now with the Democrat majority in the House to come up with a piece of legislation that can be conferenced with the Senate bill that McCain and Kennedy did that grants amnesty, shuns border security aside for something else, gets to it much later in the process, if at all. And if you look at the McCain bill, which we have done exhaustively and which we have reported on exhaustively, there are no enforcement provisions. And there are all these threats. You got to stand in line, you got to admit this, you got to pay a fine, but there's no enforcement. I mean, my gosh, the bureaucracy is not set up to handle this kind of a program. Look at, we can't even handle the ports. We can't even handle the FEMA. And yet, everybody continues to trust in this massive, giant bureaucracy that something like this can be done smoothly as silk. You know, I've never known an institution that botches so much that people still have infinite faith to get it right. Government can do better in health care to some people. Government can do better building anything. Government can do better running businesses than individuals can. Government can do it better than Walmart when it's just the exact opposite. At any rate, the Democrats not desiring to get in on this is a true indication of where the real thinking in this country is among a majority of people happens to be. And it's not for amnesty. It's just not. And that's why it's fascinating to listen to our punditry, the conservative punditry in Washington, chalk the Republican position, the House Republican position on illegal immigration up as one of the reasons that Republicans lost. Man, if that's the case, Democrats would be beating down the doors to get this legislation signed as soon as January comes in and they come into power. Patty in Shelbyville, Indiana, welcome to the EIB Network.
Hi, Rush. Top 10% taxpayer dittos.
Top 2%? Top 10%. Sorry. Well,
10%.
I'm proud to know you.
It's a delight. I think that the unions were actually payrolling some of those amnesty marches. I heard that about a week ago.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no question about it.
I just wanted to echo your sentiment about the GOP kind of throwing in the towel and relenting all of the progress that we've made. But, maybe with the House I can understand it. But with the Senate, I mean, they only won by like 1% on both of the, the last races that were, being contested or potentially contested in Montana and even in Virginia. So I don't see how and why President Bush, which God love him and I love him too, why he's just kind of like, well, giving it back. I totally don't understand that as a conservative.
Well, I must profess I don't either. They have to have a reason for it. And we're left to take the president at his word. The Democrats won the election. The American people want us to work together. And it is what it is.
I have a suggestion. I think the Republicans can win if they can pass this piece of legislation before they get out of power. Put a ban on the welfare recipient voting. That'll transform it.
Patty. Do you think any serious legislation is going to happen between now and the end of the year in a lame duck Congress?
No.
I'm not poo-pooing your idea.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to sound cynical. I'm trying to be a realist here. It's a lame duck session. I know the president's going to push for two things. He really wants Bolton confirmed. The Democrats have signaled, along with Link Chafee, that ain't going to happen. And he wants his legislation on the National Security Agency's foreign surveillance program.
Well,
I guarantee that the Democrats, we're going to, in the spirit of bipartisanship, we're going to work with this president. They're not going to give him anything he wants. And there aren't the votes here to get anything done in a veto-proof majority. Ban welfare recipients from voting. Is that what you said?
I was just kidding about that. I know that something like that will never happen, but after it's all said and done, they're going to find out that the reason Republicans lost is because they had a mandate several years ago, and then I would say probably about 2 years ago they started getting a little weaker at being passionate about passing the things that they were put in office to pass.
Yeah, but that's just one. There are so many theories going around as to why the Republicans lost, and there's truth in part in all of them. The big one, though, happens to be Iraq, motivating these spineless moderates to vote against Republicans.
Know why Headline News gave Glenn Beck a show?
Let me paint the picture for you here.
This guy's got passion.
I am a conservative, but I am not a zombie.
He doesn't hide his personality.
I can't tell you how much I hate you without head of hair.
And he's not afraid to take a point of view.
We don't need really any more laws. We just need to enforce the ones we already have.
He's something different at 7 and 9.
What should we do about global warming?
Red Defender! Thank goodness you're here! That huge asteroid is headed right towards Earth!
I'll handle this.
Like an arrow shot from a man-sized bow, the Red Defender hurtles into space using his super strength to stop the asteroid.
He's stopping the asteroid! It's moving away from Earth! You saved us! How did you do it?
I just stopped the asteroid and reversed its course back into space.
Look, the moon! It's exploded!
Where exactly did you throw that asteroid?
Away. I threw it away.
No more moon. That means no more tides. Tides are created by the moon.
And no more walks in the moonlight. I love walks in the moonlight.
Saving the world isn't easy. Saving a life is. Just 1 pint of blood can save up to 3 lives. To find out more, go to bloodsaves.com. A public service message brought to you by the